Hello everybody, and I am Vanshika. You are watching my channel Knowledge World. So today in this video we'll be dealing with the science chapter of class 8 NCERT, and the chapter's name is Cell Structure and Function. In contract way we are saying cell. So today in this video we'll be going through this chapter, and those who are watching it for a review, they'll be getting knowledgeable facts and many more extra facts also, and extra knowledge also. So it will be a whole good and knowledgeable experience for you, and those who are watching it for the very first time, they'll get each and every information in this video. So today we'll study with online notes, and I am just opening those notes and we'll be starting with our lecture then. Yeah, so here are the online notes, and the site name is Ask IITians. So you can study this chapter from this site. Cell structure and function. So here are the revision notes on cell structure and function. A cell from the Latin language. This word cell is derived from the Latin language, and from the word cella or cellula meaning small room, and this cella or cellula means small room, and this cell is the basic structural, functional and biological unit of our body, basic unit of life, smallest unit of life. And here it is written also that a cell is the smallest unit of life, as I told. So a cell is the basic smallest unit of life. It is the structural and functional unit also. It can replicate itself independently. This is also a function of the cell or feature of the cell. And cells are also called the building blocks of life because they are the smallest and the basic unit of life. Now we are going to study about the discovery of cell. As you can see in this figure, he is Robert Hooke, who discovered cells in 1665. You can note down important points from this video. He is Robert Hooke and he discovered cells in 1665. Now let's see what he has discovered. Hooke saw honeycomb-like structure. When he was observing, he saw some honeycomb-like structure, and where he observed those structures in a thin slice of cork and under a microscope. And do you know the microscope was made by Robert Hooke only. So he firstly made his own microscope and then discovered the cell and on the slice of the cork. He noticed that each box was separated from the other by a partition or a wall. Each cell was separated by a wall from the another cell. He discovered this. He was the one to name each of these boxes as cells, and he named these boxes as cells. So this is how cell was discovered by Robert Hooke. So what is cork? The word cork is given here. So the meaning of cork is a part of the bark of the tree. So cork is a part of the bark of the tree. Scientists could study cells of living organisms only when improved microscopes and high magnification were invented. Obviously, because cells are the smallest unit of life, as we studied just now, so we need higher magnification for it, high quality microscopes to study the cells. So 150 years after the Hooke first observed the cells in 1830s, two German scientists, you can note this point also, it is also very important from the point of view of objective questions. Two German scientists called Matthias Schleiden and Theodor Schwann proposed the cell theory. So which two scientists proposed the cell theory? Schwann and Schleiden. And the cell theory stated what? Which is given below in the 3 points. All living organisms are made of cells, as we studied just now that the cell is the basic functional structure and biological unit of life. So all living organisms are made up of cells. Cells are the basic structural and functional units of the living organisms, and all cells are born out of pre-existing cells through cell division. So these were the points. If you want to note down, then you can note down. Then we'll start the cell. While cells are often referred to as bricks because these are also referred to as the building blocks of life, and bricks also making up a building, bricks making up a building. Cells are complex living structures that can have variety of shapes, sizes and functions. So all cells have different shapes, different size and different functions according to their roles. So here is, did you know, as I have told that we'll get extra knowledge from here also, so it is the same. So this figure, an egg of a hen, this is an egg of a hen, and it is the single cell which can be seen by the naked eye, means unaided eye without a microscope. It is the only cell because we can see it with an unaided eye also, so it is the only cell which can be seen with the naked eye. Now we'll study about organisms show variety in cell number, shape and size. As we studied here in this. So to study cells, scientists use microscopes to magnify them as they are very small. They often use stains, dyes. They do staining. Staining gives color to the parts of the cell. When they keep the cell in on the slice and they then stain, then they put the dye and stain the cell, which when you'll put the cell of methylene blue and salt solution, I think so, when you'll put this solution on the cell which is kept on the slice, all the cell organelles, means the components of the cell, will have a different color and it will be easy for us to see them. So that's why they do staining, to study the parts of the cell organelles in a magnified way, in a more clearer way, I can say. So number of cells it is given 1 billion is equal to 1000 million, as we know, and 1 trillion is equal to 1000 billion. There are billions and trillions of cells in a tall tree or a large animal. A human body also has trillions of cells, as we know, which have different shapes, sizes and functions. So organisms can be divided into two types: multicellular organisms and unicellular organisms. Let us firstly study about multicellular organisms. Multicellular organisms are those organisms which are made from more than one cell, made up of more than one cell. So mango tree and frog are multicellular, and human beings are also multicellular, as all of us are also made up of multiple cells. And the unicellular organisms, now we'll study. Unicellular organisms are made up of only a single cell. For example, amoeba and paramecium. You have studied about this in the previous class, 7th class also, so I'll not go in too much detail. So one more do you know is here. Multicellular organisms with billions of cells also start their life as a single cell, as it was proposed in the cell theory by Theodor Schwann and Schleiden. The fertilized egg, which is a single cell, multiplies to form more cells as the organism develops. So you can note down this also. Single-celled organisms also performed all the necessary life functions like multicellular organisms. In multicellular organisms, different cells have divided labor, that which cell will do what function, which function is for which cell. So there is a divided labor, and in a single cell there is only one cell, and that one cell also does all these functions are performed by that single cell also. So single cell organisms, as I have already read it, so like functions in multicellular organisms, and the functions are ingestion and digestion of food. Ingestion means intake of food, and digestion of food, respiration, excretion, reproduction and growth also. The only difference is that while a single cell performs all function in the unicellular organisms, multicellular organisms have a specialized group of cells to perform different functions, as I have already told you. The specialized cells form tissues, which in turn forms organs, and cells form tissue, tissue forms organ, organ form organ system, and organ system forms a body. So this is what I wanted to share with you, and now we'll study shape of cells. Amoeba. Amoeba, which is a single-celled organism, does not have a definite shape. Yes, so amoeba is a single-celled organism and it does not have a definite shape, as in 7th class we have studied in our NCERT book. Its shape keeps on changing as it moves or feeds on protruding parts of its body to form pseudopodia, meaning false feet. It was also given in the 7th class book. These projections are called pseudopodia. Humans have millions of cells, as we know, such as white blood cells, WBCs found in blood, and cells that make up muscles and cells that form nerves. Their shape vary according to the functions they perform. As I have already told you, the functions they perform, their shape, size, everything depends upon this fact. Most cells are round, spherical, or elongated. Some are spindle shaped also, which are long and pointed at both the ends. Nerve cells or neurons are quite long and are branched out to receive and transfer messages. So you can note this point, from nerve cells to transfer messages. And these are the pictures of the cells. See, this is a smooth muscle cell. This is an ovum, blood cells, bone cells, and nerve cells, fat cells. Everything is given here in a very clearer way. Shapes of cells are maintained by a covering called cell membrane or plasma membrane. This is only a single membrane, cell membrane, and the another name of cell membrane is plasma membrane. You can note this point also. Shapes of the cell. It maintains the shape of the cell and it is a covering. Bacterial cells and plant cells have an additional rigid covering called a cell wall. And do you know why are they having cell walls? Because plants are having cell walls. Because plants cannot move from one place to another. So when there is high velocity wind or something strong winds are blowing, so how they'll protect their cell? So in their cell a cell wall is there, which gives them rigidity and the power to withstand that high velocity wind. So that's why they're having a plant cell, to give them protection. It is their protection cover. So let's study about the size of cells. The size of the cells may vary from a millionth of a meter, known as micron, to a few centimeters, but most of them cannot be seen with the naked eye. We need microscope to see these microscopic cells. So here is something written. We'll read it. This is some informative fact. Smallest cell is found in bacteria and is just 0.1 to 0.5 micrometer long. So in micrometer it was the smallest cell and its size was 0.1 to 0.5. The next fact is largest cell is an ostrich's egg, which has an area of about 17 centimeter into 13 centimeter for 170 mm into 130 mm. So in this it was this. You can note it down also and you can visit this site also. It is not necessary that the size of cells of a large animal such as an elephant will be larger than cells of a smaller animal such as rat. The size of cell depends upon the function it performs. The same fact I have already told you. For example, nerve cells of a rat and nerve cells of an elephant are performing the same function. The nerve cell of the elephant is also transferring messages or nerve impulses, and the nerve cell of the rat is also performing the same function. So both of these cells will have same size on the basis of the function performed. So in today's lecture we'll only study this much. You can revise this much, and in the next video we'll study cell structure and function, and more about it in detail we'll read. For today it's only this much, and my videos are not much long, as you can see. So stay tuned with me. Bye bye, and watch the next part of this also. And if you like the video and this, extra knowledge you have got from this video or the explanation, so please strike a like, share the video and subscribe to my channel for best explanation. So in the next video I'll be explaining further, please subscribe to the channel and stay tuned with me. Bye bye, and thank you for your valuable time and attention.